All right, the Reds, it's Friday. Jürgen Klopp's done his press conference. There's loads of podcasts and videos going out, being prepared. The Anfield app's dead busy. And me, Gareth, Roberts and Ian Ryan, we're going to have a little chat on Talking Reds about stuff, so here we are. All right, the boys, how are we? Okay, so the big news that everyone is talking about is Jürgen did just do his press conference. The boys are downstairs doing the Team Talk podcast, reacting to that right now. So don't want to get too much into it and cross over with them lads. You know, Josh will batter me. But Van Dijk is the big news that he didn't train yesterday. There remains a doubt about him. Obviously, Klopp said he's world class and you want him in your side rather than not. But it's massive if he doesn't play, that, isn't it?
Mate, this is brand new information. I didn't know this. I've just been obviously driving in now, so I've not caught Klopp's press conference, and I was just hoping it was just going to be one of them where you just find out he's training normally and there's no issue, and it'll be a huge blow. I mean, obviously. Lovren's come back, but you know, based on what we saw the other night, the back five wasn't great, was it? Not just about Lovren, you know, as a unit, it didn't function that well. There's probably loads of reasons behind that. You know, you can talk about quality, you can talk about rustiness, etc. But if we haven't got Van Dijk there, yeah, it'll be a concern. Given how he's played, I mean, you could probably make an argument that he's the most important player Liverpool have got. Yeah, I think that's fair because you can talk about the front three, but if you do lose one, then you've at least got two others to kind of, you know, still do their bits. But to lose him would be a blow, and it would be obviously a big boost for Chelsea. That said, you know, I think Joe Gomez has been nothing short of outstanding this season, and even when he came on in the last league game, he kind of, you know, he's thrown in, he's kind of playing the opposite side to where he normally plays. He was superb, and you'd hope, you know, Lovren, you know, he knows he's not first choice at the minute. So sometimes when you give a footballer something to prove, in a sense of, well, you've lost your place here, lad, so you're going to have to kind of reach those levels again that saw us get to a Champions League final, that saw him do really, really well in the World Cup final. Maybe that's the kind of, sometimes, you know, the thing Lovren needs. He needs to go out and prove himself sometimes, you know, with that mentality thing for him. I think sometimes he gets into a bit of a rhythm where he becomes too comfortable, and that's when you see his game start to maybe, you know, drop a little bit. So yes, we've got cover there, but mate, you want him there, don't you?
You want him there. You do want him there as well, because, you know, you got Giroud at Chelsea, and he's got a good record against Liverpool.
He'll probably start as well, given Morata started in midweek. Yeah. You think Giroud's probably going to start a league game.
Yeah, and you want Van Dijk beating him in the air over and over and over and over again.
It's the talking though, mate, as well, isn't it? Just one more thing on that. It's the organisation. You know, as a unit, you can tell he's responsible for that unit, so you want him there for that as much as what he brings on the football pitch as well.
Absolutely. All right, well, as I say, there will be a preview show out there this afternoon on the YouTube channel. The boys are recording the Team Talk show, as I say, that's out there if you subscribe to the Anfield app. There's a Radio City Talk show later today, 6:30, if you want to listen to that live on the radio. There's a Weekender show already out there. That one's free. That's new, by the way, as well. So if you don't listen to our podcast, you don't subscribe, you can give that one a go for nothing. And Neil assures me that it's very, very good this week. Mel Reddy was on it, and she was the business like she always is. So give that one a go and share it round and shout out to other Reds and all that sort of thing, you know. Spread the Anfield rap love. What I wanted to talk about with you then is we've got Chelsea again tomorrow, obviously. Played them in the week, they knocked us out the League Cup. I want to talk about this idea, it always comes up when we play them now, this rivalry idea. And like, you know, me and Sam went down there and we got some Chelsea fans for the preview video, and they were very good, and it's worth a watch for them alone, to be honest. They were excellent. But I was talking to them about it as well, and there was bits and bobs that come out. I mean, like, you know, the girl Sophie that we spoke to was like, look, I just don't like Steven Gerrard. I don't like him. And I was like, all right, Sophie. I was like, that's fine, because, you know, there's loads of Chelsea fans, but slip of the tongue, Chelsea players that I don't like. But it's one of them. I mean, it all when people say there's a rivalry, the first thing that comes into my head is Benitez v Mourinho and all that sort of stuff. And it's just a bit old now. Like, you know, I'm not that bothered about them right now, and they're probably not as bothered about us. I don't feel like we've massively been on their radar for a while. They've been a little bit strange in that, you know, like they win a league but then they drop away and they're sacking managers and they're just being Chelsea. And I don't know, I mean, like the Echo did a piece this week, and like they were like, oh yeah, you got City fans who try and stir up like a black rivalry, but this one was real, was what the Echo piece was saying, and I was thinking, is it? Because I mean, look, detail some of the things why it's there. League Cup final, Mourinho shushing, you know, the Liverpool fans and all that sort of stuff. You got the Champions League games, the ghost goal, Fernando Torres going to Chelsea breaking Alonso's ankle that time. You've played them in the League Cup final, the FA Cup final, Champions League semi-finals, and then there's this record as well of, like, it'll be the 40. We've played for Chelsea 47 times since 04-05, which I think is more than any other side. And then obviously they're still being pricks about Gerrard's slip, singing about that and that kind of thing. But I just think, I don't know. I just think maybe it's a little bit manufactured by the media and stuff, and a bit stirred up by that. Because I'm not that bothered about them. I want to beat them, and it's a big match when you play them. But it's not the intensity of United, and it's not the intensity of Everton.
No, and it's only been over a relatively short period of time, hasn't it? So I think it's hard to create a rivalry that's lasted as long as United or Everton, for instance. I think one thing missing off that, and this may be where Sophie's coming from, is Steven Gerrard almost joins Chelsea as well on a couple of occasions, and that's probably why a lot of fans don't like him, because obviously he's very close to kind of making that move and then decides last minute to stay. So
he got a boss digging. Do you remember his last season, the last time he played there?
He scored, didn't he?
And they gave him a bit of a round of applause, didn't they? They said in the interview, like, you know, Stephen, you know, what did you think of getting an applause? And he said something like, well, they've booed me for years. It's nice of them to turn up for once. which was excellent.
Absolutely fair play to him there. I don't know. I mean, the other night when we get beat by them, you can have a debate about the League Cup and whether you see it as important this year or not. I was disappointed to go out, but I think part of the disappointment was that it was at the hands of them, and I don't like them as a club, Robbo, and I think I don't like what they stand for. I don't like some of the fans. I don't like the way they behave. The way they go about the business doesn't always sit comfortably with me. To be fair to them, you know, in terms of how they kind of recruit managers and dispose of them, it's working for them because they've been successful. You've listed some trophies down there, and there's no doubt they've been a very successful football side, going about it in a way that most clubs probably wouldn't go about managing a football club or running a football club, but it seems to be working for them. You know, managers come in, they know they've got a relatively short short period of time, which is why I think, you know, a lot of these players who are young at Chelsea don't ever get a look in, because as a manager, why would you ever look at a young player when you know you've probably got 12 months? You may have 2 years tops. So as far as youth development goes, it's not on your radar. You've got to do it now. You've got to be successful straight away. So I think there's all that around Chelsea as well that doesn't always sit comfortably. I just think, as I said to fans, and you know, this is a sweeping statement because I'm sure there's some good ones, we don't seem to get on. And I don't like the way they behave at football matches, and they may say something similar about us. So I think there is a rivalry there, but I get your point around it's not the long-standing thing. It's not United, it's not Everton. You know, Everton's the game where, you know, you can't wait to go there and absolutely smash them on their own patch, and we will do it this season. I can't fucking wait for it. So that's the one. But even so, I'm going into this on Saturday, and I want to absolutely batter these.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know you do as well. Obviously, you know, I'm not saying for
I
one
just
second.
think some aspects of it.
I think you're right. But the Benitez Mourinho thing, that's what it started, isn't it? And I think there's that story around, you know, we almost get Mourinho, don't we? There's conversations going on, and I think, you know, the hierarchy.
And they get Benitez and treat him like shit.
Yeah, and that doesn't sit well with me, by the way. And let's be honest, he did a fantastic job when he goes there under ridiculous kind of circumstances. You know, the senior players, you know, your John Terry's giving him absolutely no respect. I know he bombs Terry a little bit, but even so, he's getting no respect from a lot of the senior pros there. But we almost get Mourinho.
This prick, didn't you?
Bell ends.
This prick with his little, like, that's how long it took him to knock it up, and then he's there on Terry. Benitez out. You shit.
So, but our hierarchy said, well, we don't want Mourinho because we don't like how he acts, we don't like how he behaves. Now, you know, that's a kind of point in time there where if it does go the way of we get Mourinho, who knows what happens? You know, we'll never know. But I think that upsets him, and obviously, you know, there's as you touch on the League Cup thing, and he does that kind of, you know, he shushes the fans, and from there, it's never been a it's never been one of them where we've gone on with him and he's gone on with us. I mean, maybe there's respect there. You know, he's done some great things as a football manager.
He did the big walking down the touchline.
You touch on that ghost goal thing, which, you know, for me, that's one of the best things that's ever happened. You know what I mean? I hope it never went in. I know, who knows if it went in, but I don't even care. I hope it gets proven one day it was not over the line. I've some of that to you. So I don't know. You mentioned about them singing about Gerrard and us singing about John Terry, and I think that's one where maybe we just need to both let that go.
Yeah, and I just think swerve that. I mean, you know, like I liked it the other night when they started singing the Gerrard song and we sang our Gerrard song louder and boomed it out at them. I think that's a good way to go back. But you know, the John Terry's Ma song, I don't know. I mean, Terry played. It's funny, but Terry played his last match for Chelsea in May 2017. He's not there, and it's a bit. I don't know. I mean, the one that I really don't like, I've got to be honest, I've had enough of it now, and I'm listening to it and I'm just going, I just don't know about this anymore, lads. You know, the fuck off Chelsea FC, where everyone does a weird accent. You ain't. Who says ain't?
Yeah.
No one says ain't. You ain't got any history. You ain't got no history. Like, they have now, you know.
Yeah.
And it kind of doesn't stack up for me. I know we've got more, and I know we've won more titles, and I know we've won more European Cups. But you know, when you look at what they've won, and they've won the 5 Premier League titles, I'd quite like that. I mean, maybe not in the manner they did it, as you say. You know, there's questionable things about, you know, the way they've done it and the money and all that, and bitter taste in your mouth. But won the Premier League 5 times, won the FA Cup 8 times, won the League Cup 5 times. They won the Champions League, they won the Europa League. I think there's a good argument to say they've got a little bit of history now. It's fairly recent. Yeah. But I just think maybe bin that song.
I'm probably in agreement with that song. I mean, the one about his mum. I mean, mum jokes can be funny. I mean, you know, but you know, maybe you've got to draw the line. And the history one maybe. And you know, they need to look at the Gerrard one that they sing. I mean, it didn't result in them winning anything.
No, I know, that's weird.
It's absolutely mad.
Well,
I mean,
what's
Man
really
City go win the league, and you know, Chelsea still sing that song probably more than anyone else.
At least they're playing us though. We're like, so there's that aspect, if you like. But like when like really shit clubs come to Anfield, and they sing that, you're like, well, you's weren't in contention for the title. Who are you, you scruffs? Fuck off home. Stop singing about Steven Gerrard, and you know, go and buy something from Sports Direct, you bunch of scruffs. Anyway.
We digress, I mean.
Shaqiri then. Shaqiri's done an interview with the London Evening Standard. I've got a Liverpool reporter, David Lynch.
I read that this morning.
He's done something with them, with Shaqiri. Some interesting stuff in there. I mean, everyone's picked up on this idea that Klopp was arguing with Shaqiri. He's made it clear in his press conference today. He said it wasn't an argument. I was just telling him something about a free kick. Shaqiri's been asked about it as well. He says Klopp was not intense or shouting something. It's just a tactical thing, like something off the free kick that we should do better. He said in the end, Jordan took the free kick, and it was maybe not the best solution we did there.
It's pretty kindly, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's fucking terrible.
He is bollocking him, and he is basically saying you should have been on it. But it seems both manager and player are saying there's nothing to see here, so there's nothing to see here.
Sound.
And then the other thing as well is, which I quite liked, he's had a bit of a pop back at Charlie Adam, and basically said, you know, you're the lad who's getting sent off and missing pens, lad. I'm scoring goals, shut up, which is excellent, well in Shaqiri. But also as well, he says this idea about it's not true what they wrote, because I'm a totally different type of person. Some ex-football players or some ex-teammates, they spoke to the media and it looks like I'm a bad boy or something, but I've never been a bad boy or had some problems at a club. For me, I'm a nice guy, I like to joke, so I think the people who spoke about me were totally wrong.
I think, and you talk about this a lot, when Liverpool go about their recruitment, they look into the players' personality as much as they probably do their ability on a football pitch, and there's no doubt in my mind Jürgen Klopp's not signing Shaqiri if he's a problem. You know, he's not signing him if he's going to cause an issue, and there's case studies there to back that up, that he causes problems. Then we don't sign him, because I think Jürgen knows what he's got. Is a very kind of, you know, it's very settled, isn't it, in terms of squad. They all get on. There's a close bond there. He wouldn't risk upsetting that by bringing in someone who's going to cause him an issue. So I think we can rule that out pretty much straight away. I think it's great the way he's gone back to Charlie Adam, because he's just been taking the piss, that lad. You know, for a long time, Charlie Adam, you know, he's for me, you know, he's not even a footballer anymore. You know what I mean? He's a figure of fun, and
it's fried egg on toast.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of his performances, you know, how he can have the nerve to to even point the finger at Shaqiri is beyond me, because from what I could see from the outside looking in, there was only one player really who was doing his bit to try and keep Stoke up, and it wasn't Charlie Adam.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's good to see that he's had a little go back, and I thought the thing the other night, the Klopp thing with Shaqiri, was interesting because it did look like he was having a bit of a go at him. It looked maybe a little bit OTT, if I'm honest.
I mean, it upset a few people. I've seen a few people tweeting about it, saying, it should be done in the changing rooms and all this sort of thing. But personally, I don't mind a bit of passion.
Well, if player and manager are okay with it, then I don't think we can get upset about it. Why would you? And I think Klopp's, he's very much. He lives in the moment, doesn't he? So I'd see some people say, well, do it in the dressing room. Well, I think he's all about kind of emotion and passion, and you can't, exactly. You can't just quell that and then do it 20 minutes later. He sees it there, so that's why he's doing it. Maybe you could articulate it slightly differently, but if the player's all right with it, they know what the manager's like.
It sounds.
No issue with it.
I just wanted to give a shout out as well to our mate Steve Warnock, obviously of the ProView. We're still doing 10 to get him back in, by the way.
He's doing bits, isn't he?
He's doing bits everywhere, but he's done an interview with Andy Roberts. Focus. So get onto that tomorrow. I think it's on about 12ish on BBC One. That'll be worth a watch. Full-back interviewing full-back, if you like. So yeah, I seen him tweeting about that, so I thought I'd give that a shout, because it's nice to be nice and all that. One other one, I wanted to get you on this because I'm interested to see what you say, really, because I've seen some conversations on Twitter. I can't remember if you were involved or not, but basically the bookies are saying that Liverpool are favourites to sign Aaron Ramsey in the summer.
Right, okay.
And it's obviously quite clear he's going to go. He's made that much clear. I just wondered what you made of that idea. He's 27 years old. Obviously several Premier Leagues said to be interested, and AC Milan as well. He's failed to agree terms on a new contract. Yeah. Would you fancy him at Anfield?
I think he's a good player. The concern, if you have a concern, you'd have to think about injuries. I think over the course of his career, he's been one where he's probably had too much time out of the team due to injury. I think he was always a player, certainly early on in his career, that divided opinion with Arsenal fans. I think, some loved him, some thought he didn't do enough. I think there are games where, he maybe lets it pass him by a little bit. But I think on his day, he's a very good footballer. He's got ability to score goals from midfield. He links play really, really well. He has got that knack of, when he is on song, he can arrive in the box at the right time and find the back of the net. I think what you also have to take into account is what this manager could do with him. So I think if you look at, when we signed Oxlade-Chamberlain, I remember it being a bit of a signing that split people really. Sizable fee, a guy who had inconsistencies to his game, but he comes in and within a few months you can see the different player. When Klopp's got hold of him and he's made him into something else, and I think you could make a case for the manager being able to do that with someone like Aaron Ramsey. So I wouldn't be against it. The injuries would be the one that maybe would worry me a little bit, given we've still got a couple of lads around the squad we've got question marks over them about their injury history. But what do you think about it?
I don't know. I think he's maybe a little bit old, on the older side. I know we've got Milner there, and Milner's I think Milner's almost like a little bit of a freak though for his age, in that he's so fit, he's so dedicated to sport, always has been, never drank and all that kind of thing. And I don't know, 27, you'd have to give him a big contract, obviously, with all these other clubs sniffing round.
Coming to his peak years though, really, you know what I mean, 27. I liked when Wales had that really successful spell, when they got to the semis and stuff. I thought in and around that kind of campaign and stuff, there seemed to be something about his character that maybe I hadn't realised. He came across as more of a leader than maybe I'd given him credit for in the past. And I think, again, it's back to that personality thing. I think things will get back to managers about certain players and how they, interact with others and stuff.
It's interesting that you said about passing them by, because I was talking to Mo, who's in for one of the shows earlier, and asking him what he thought. And he said that. He said he's not one. He said he's one where if a game's getting away from you feel like he's just a bit like.
Yeah, he can be a passenger. I've seen it, but again, I think it's hard to sometimes know about whether this is an Arsenal thing or whether it's actually something that is down to him. Because I think over the years it's been proven. Arsenal have operated in a certain way where it's not been right. It's not been right, and I think some players have suffered because of that, and maybe he's one of them. So I don't know. It's not one that kind of says, "Oh, definitely got to get hold of him." But if it happens, I'd be okay with it. And I think, you know, we now know this manager has a really, really firm idea of what he wants. And if he goes for him, then yeah, I'm on board with that.
Well, if you'd like an argument about Aaron Ramsey, Paul Senior and Phil Blundell are the people to look up on Twitter.
What are they saying?
They're going hammer and tongs. Senior wants him and Blundell doesn't.
Yeah, I probably could have guessed that. Yeah.
So they're clashing heads, clashing horns, whatever the word is. Okay, well, I reckon that'll do us for a Talking Reds there, to be honest. I'll repeat all the plugs, because we'd like you to listen to our brilliant content that we put together. So the weekend of the free show is already out. The Friday show is already out there for if you subscribe to the Anfield app. £5 a month if you don't. You can have a go for a month and fuck it off if you don't like it, or you can keep it with it if you do like it, and all you spend is a £5, etc, etc. All the usual plugs, AnfieldApp.com, go and have a look. The team talk will be out later today. We're on City Talk at 6:30 if you want to have a listen to that. That is no longer released as a podcast, by the way, so you just have to listen to it on the radio. AFQ tonight as well for subscribers, and the preview show will be out as a video this afternoon, and it's very good. I was made up with the Chelsea fans, as I say, are really good on it as well too. And tomorrow there will be the post-match podcast, The Pink, and there will be the post-match pint, which is going to be this week from the Head of Steam on Hanover Street. We'll all be having a pint in there and watching the match, those that aren't going down there. So if you'd like to come and have a pint with us, you're more than welcome. If you'd like to watch the post-match pint being filmed, you're more than welcome. Head of Steam on Hanover Street, you know what time the kick-off is. See you there if you're coming. Enjoy your weekend if you're not. Up the fucking Reds. That's been Talking Reds.